What the heck is remote closing, and how can you use this one high-value, recession-proof skill to make anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 a month every single month without building your own product, having your own service, or building a marketing agency, Amazon FBA, any of that stuff? Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Aaron here, coming at you live from the Remote Closing Academy YouTube channel. Of course, welcome or welcome back. In this video, we're going to kind of set the stage for this entire YouTube channel. It'll be one of the first videos, and we're going to go over what is remote closing, or it's also known as inbound closing or high ticket sales, high ticket closing, remote high ticket closing. It goes by a bunch of different names, but we're going to go over what is it, also how these opportunities work, as well as how you make the money. That's always one of the biggest questions. So we're going to save that to the end. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, as a really quick reminder, if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, would highly recommend that you do so, as we're going to be going over a ton of content in terms of not only what is remote closing, but also how to get your own remote closing gigs, how you can, get placed in these companies, really just being able to create you into the best high ticket salesperson that there could ever be. So again, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. So with all that stuff aside, what is remote closing? Now, to really fully understand how this industry came to be is we have to take a little bit of a step back to like 2013, 2014. If you've been online and have had a Facebook or Instagram for any amount of time, you've probably gotten hit with ads about, buying specific courses. But back in 2013, 2014, it was more of just like, here's some videos and you can go watch it, right? It was ranging anywhere from $297 to $997. But what really quickly started to happen is because people found out how, for lack of a better word, simple it was to make money by doing that. They just ran some ads and then they sold a product on the back end. It was very automated. But because it was so simple, so many people started jumping into it, thus made the competition higher, thus brought the profit margins a lot lower, which made people transition into this more of a high ticket realm, which meant instead of $297 to $997, they upped it to about, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 plus. But all that meant was instead of running them straight to a VSL or to a video to make that sale, they had to get on a one-on-one call to sell them into that product. And as you can start to put two and two together, you can only really spend a limited amount of time on these sales calls. So let's say the entrepreneur that's trying to grow their business, they can't stay on one-on-one calls all day long. So that is where high ticket closers come into play, so that we can come in, take a little bit of the percentage off the top of the deal, and they're ultimately happy because they don't have to like pay someone up front, but they're paying you as you continue to bring more sales into the company. So again, that's a little bit more at a higher level that should make sense, right? Someone has an offer, $2,000 to $50,000, you're getting a percentage of that deal as a high ticket closer. Now, there isn't just one role when it comes to being a high ticket closer, because you can be, more of an entry level position, which is an appointment setter, versus a closer. So let's kind of break down those two opportunities really quickly. So when we're talking about an appointment setter, don't think of it as, you have to go out and call people in the yellow pages or cold call people or anything like that. But what you're doing is you're calling or messaging or reaching out to people that already know, like, and trust the brand. So for example, if it's, Tony Robbins, right? He has, good chance he has a Facebook group, he has a YouTube channel, and as an appointment setter, you would go out to people that have pretty much raised their hand and said, I'm interested in whatever you have to offer. But as an appointment setter, you're kind of like that liaison between, them opting into something or putting in their name, phone number, and email, and actually getting them on a sales call. Now, I don't want it to push you away by me saying like entry level position, because we found people that are appointment setters, like you can make as an entry level position anywhere from $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, even up to $15,000 a month just by being an appointment setter. So don't let that push you away. Now, we already touched on the closer role, but of course it's going to have higher commissions as a closer, because there is like, you're physically the one pushing them into the sale, right? Getting past objections and ultimately helping them understand why it's a good fit for them to move forward. And of course, there is going to be a little bit more, we'll say, experience needed. Now, don't let that push you away. Like if you literally just subscribe to this YouTube channel, which remember to click it below, turn on notifications, we'll give you all the information on this channel in order to become a high ticket closer. So again, don't let that push you away by saying like you do need some experience, but you can get the experience from this channel. So we've touched on what is high ticket closing. We've touched on setter versus closer. Now let's talk about, okay, like what would you even be selling? Now, there's so many different types of offers out there, and I'll make a video down the road that goes over a lot of these different terms that I'm using, like KPI, setter versus closer, offers, things like that. that, but think of really anything that could help upgrade your life, right? So think of, you've probably seen like Airbnb programs out there. You might have seen like crypto programs. You might have seen, how to build a YouTube channel to make money, right? How to lose weight by using this specific diet, right? Those types of courses and programs. So kind of just think about that when you're thinking about, okay, what type of offer? But keep in mind, there's like hundreds, if not thousands of types of offers out there that could go directly with your beliefs. So, maybe there's a specific program around a specific religion that you're like really, tied in with, or that you believe in. I could sit here all day long and talk about like the specific types of offers, but know that pretty much anything that you might be interested in, there's a good chance there's some sort of offer that you can sell that goes along with that. Pro tip here. Now we'll go over all around finding offers and how to, submit your resume and connect with these different companies, but you always want to pick something that you're actually remotely interested in, right? It's going to be a lot easier when you can sell for an offer that you kind of already know the intricacies of that specific industry, as opposed to like learning something over from scratch, right? You don't want to add any unnecessary work for yourself. So again, we'll talk about it more down in other videos, but when you are looking for offers to sell for, make sure that it's something that you at least are a little bit interested in. All right, the moment we have all been waiting for. How does the money work? How much money could you make in this industry? Now, before we jump into this, Jeff, if you can throw like a disclaimer on screen, massive disclaimer. This is not a get rich quick type of business model whatsoever. There is actual work that goes into it. Crazy, shocker, right? But there's work that goes into it. You need to study sales. You need to understand sales. Again, don't let that push you away because we're going to teach you everything on this channel. But keep in mind, this one skill, if you can learn sales, you can learn high-level communication at a really high level. Cole Gordon, the founder of the company, he talks all the time about if you can learn this one skill, you can literally go work anywhere. Ask any billionaire, what is the most valued skill that you can have as an entrepreneur? Is going to be sales. So keep that in mind once we get into this money part of it. Okay, now all disclaimers aside, let's break down the money-making aspect. And I have my remarkable tablet here to keep all my numbers straight. But generally across the board, you as a closer, and we'll break down closer and setter, but as a closer, you're gonna make 10% of the offer price. So for example, let's say you have 5 calls every single day, 5 days a week. That's gonna give you 25 opportunities every single week. And keep in mind, these are warm opportunities. So people that know about the brand, they've already probably watched a video or two of you, or of the offer that you're selling. And if you can stay within KPI, which is the key performance indicator of 20 to 25%, right, of a close rate, you're going to make the 10% of, let's just say, for example, the offer is a 5K offer, right? That's going to be $500 per sale. But again, keep in mind, let's say the offer is $10,000, right? You'll make $1,000 per sale. So actually, let me break it down one more time with a $7,500 offer because I want to kind of split the difference. So basically what you have is you have 25 calls a week. And if you're, let's just say at the bottom end of 20% closing ratio, which again is pretty much industry standard, that's going to give you $750 per close. Now, let's say you do close right at that 20%, it's going to give you $15,000 in net income, which generally you'll have some bonuses of, collecting a certain amount of cash, closing a certain amount of deals, which is going to bring you, let's say, give or take about $18,000 in take-home income. Now, keep in mind with any other traditional online business, you'd be having to do anywhere from $40,000 to $100,000 a month, whether it's drop shipping, marketing agency, Amazon FBA, coaching, consulting. You'd be having to do $40,000 to $100,000 a month to be able to take home the same 18K because of operating costs, employees, advertising spend. I mean, if your goal is just to make money, there's no other better place to do it than remote closing. Now, here's where the fun part comes in. We're only taking in consideration that, you're closing at 20%, right? There's been some people we've worked with that close 30, 40%, right? Which bring those numbers up. Some might say that you might be taking more than 25 calls a week, right? Which brings everything up. Some might say you have a higher offer, right? Higher than 7,500. It could be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 offer. So as you can see, this is like literally the bare minimum coming in like right at like the industry KPI. So that's the closers. Let's talk about the setter role now. So generally, we're going to have a base pay as a setter of, we'll say about $1,500 a month, give or take some different offers, plus a 3% of the offer price. So let's just say on average, again, these are just average KPIs, you set about 20 appointments every single week. Now, because these opportunities are a little bit warmer than things that might come from paid advertising, you're calling them, having a conversation with them, the closers should be able to close at about 30% for the, from the calls that you'd set. So what we're looking at is about 6 closed deals every single week based on those sets. So if we take that times 4, which is the 4 weeks throughout the month, they should be able to close about 24 closed deals. And so we take the 24 times 300. So in this case, we're taking in consideration a $10,000 offer. You make 3% of that, which is $300, right? So you make 300 times the 24 deals that are closed, should be $7,200 every single month. Now, of course, we take the base pay and we add to that. So plus $1,500, which would give you $8,700. And then generally companies will have some sort of bonuses in place. So, for the example, we do, an extra $1,000 for you as a setter based on cash collected that month. So, we could be looking at anywhere from, that $8,700 up to $11,000 to $12,000 based on the amount of cash that is collected for the specific company. So as you can see, again, these are just like baseline numbers. You could have more set closes. You could have an higher offer. There's a lot of other things that could come into consideration as an entry level position, guys. I'll stay here and wait for you to find another entry level position that pays you anywhere from, $11,000 to $15,000 a month as entry level. And there's so much ways, to grow after, a lot of times you'll be a setter for a couple of months and then you show that you can work really, really hard and then you just get upgraded into a closer. So the income potential and the growth potential is insane when you even start out one of these, as a setter in one of these companies. So with all that being said, guys, hopefully this was a concise enough video that explained, what remote closing is, the opportunities, talking about setters and closers, and also how the money works. But if you want to learn a little bit more about like kind of the intricacies of it, as well as just a little bit of a longer video, actually Cole put together, he goes over, how he went from being a broke bartender making like $1,500 a month, all the way up to $30,000 to $40,000 a month as a remote closer. And he breaks it down in a little bit more detail than I did in this video, on this YouTube video. So that video will be the first link down in the description. Should be like how Cole went from, bartender to making $30,000 a month. So check out that video. Nothing to sell at the end there. Now, full transparency, if you do watch the video and you're like, hey, this is cool, but I do want a little bit more of a fast track to get to that point, then of course we can talk about what that looks like, but you can literally just watch the video and, be good to go and be on your way to being a remote closer. Now, again, check the link, first link down in the description. Of course, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to get notified every single time we upload a brand new video here about remote closing, sales, objection handling, getting placed, getting into one of these high ticket opportunities. So again, guys, my name is Aaron from the Remote Closing Academy. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you guys on the next video. Talk soon. Peace.